Hey everybody, Invisiblekatana here, doing a Guy on Games video. I don't know why I titled these this way, but whenever I do my gaming reviews, this is what I always do. And I haven't done one in like, I feel like over a year, but it's like, that's how I started, so I keep it as this. And I normally wouldn't review a demo. Like, that's the weirdest thing. I would never review a demo. But with it being Resident Evil 7 which is my favorite video game franchise, despite its, mistakes and here and there, it's still my favorite franchise. I love, it's probably the reason, I love horror as like my favorite genre. In pretty much all media, horror is my favorite genre, and it might be because of Resident Evil. And so, having the announcement recently, of course, at E3, and being able to play the demo, which I played for a very long time, and I'll put the link in the description for you guys, if you want to check out the live stream that I did. I played through the whole demo. I played for, like, it was about 2.5 hours. I played through the whole demo. I've seen pretty much everything. I'm just like everybody else. I'm still confused as far as, like, where the dummy finger goes. All I've been doing the past couple of days has been thinking about Resident Evil 7, talking about Resident Evil 7. Is it, too much of a departure? And I just recently uploaded a video, which I'll put a link in the description for that. Like, did Capcom do right by us by, making the game the way they did with it, all the changes that it has? But for this video itself, I'll stick to just the demo, what I experienced, what I liked, what I didn't like, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go into all the speculations and everything like that. The couple of things I feel I do need to mention, because it's so early on and some people might not know this 100% yet. The game is gonna be first person. The character, at least what I've heard based on the interviews, is gonna be a brand new character, and this demo itself is actually not meant to be a part of the game. So those are, I think, probably the three most important factors. And I guess the number 4 would probably be, there's an article, I want to say by Kotaku, that recently came out, where they've said the actual game is going to be more like classic Resident Evil than the actual demo is. Like, the demo truly was meant to be, here's our, basically, here's our true dedication to going back to our horror roots for, this classic horror franchise. So those are kind of the 4 big things. It is first person. It's going to be a brand new character. The demo stuff, some of the concepts are going to be in the game. I think the tape mechanic is probably going to stick around, and the location, I think, is going to stick around. Like the stuff with the ghost girl, things like that, I don't think that's really going to be in the game. I'm hoping it's not, which is the craziest thing, because as supernatural as Resident Evil is, it's always been biologically supernatural, and not just like dead people coming back to life through spirit forms and stuff like that, and like, heaven and hell, demons and this and that. So I'm hoping they don't do that, and I don't think they will. I think this really was just meant to be for the demo itself. I was about to say trailer, but just for the demo. And going through it, it's deceptively quick, because you think you're like, oh, you finished it and that's it. And when I was doing my live stream, I was super excited to play it. I went through, freaked me out. Of course, they have, they do like, a lot of horror games where they just play random noises, and it's like, I don't know what's happening. You hear like little whispers here and there, and you think someone's over here or someone's over there. I don't know if this was done on purpose or if that's just how it is. The sound design for your own character moving, that probably freaked me out like more than the actual horror stuff, because I kept thinking something else was moving, but it was me, because the sound design was so loud when I was moving around sometimes. I thought it was other stuff like walking up to me, and it was freaking me out. And that may have been on purpose, because there's so much stuff in the demo, so there's like a million sounds when you take like 2 steps. And I kept thinking like that has to be someone else moving, but it was me. So I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was something, that's just how they did it. But that freaked me out a bunch, where I kept thinking somebody else was moving around, but it's just me looking left and right. Like, especially in the kitchen area, I think near the drawer that's locked, I was moving around. I was turning like left and right, and I kept turning back and forth. Like, what is that? And I kept turning, and it was me making all the noise, but I thought it was something else. So that kept freaking me out, which I thought it ended up being funny, because I finally realized, oh, that's me. It's not even the game trying to freak me out. I did it to myself. But going through it, it starts off really simple. You wake up, it's like, get out of the house. They have the little note. You walk out the door, you hear noises around the house and stuff. You go to the door, it's locked. You get the cutters, and then you get the tape. And that's where we get, I'd say, that's where the meat of this demo is that tape. And first off, I love the mechanic of the tape. I thought that was a great idea. If that's how they're going to do the puzzles for this game, I'm all for that. I thought it was really freaking fun, actually. I was like, that's actually a really sweet way to do it. You go through, you, you know, in the present portion, you're just walking around the house. It's like, okay, there's this drawer, there's that drawer. I found this thing. This drawer's locked, so there's got to be some way, to unlock that. And, it's just random stuff's happening. It's like, how do I get out of here? And then you get the tape, and you watch the tape, and you go through the house. They do the thing, and you get to the fireplace. And I guess this will be full spoilers for the demo itself if you haven't gotten to play it. So sorry if you haven't, but there will be spoilers in this. So you go through and you find the thing with the fireplace. You unlock it. You get the key, and basically you can take off. And so knowing that, it's like, all right, well, the second time I played through it, I instantly opened it up, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to grab the key. And as soon as I went in, I saw the fuse. And I was like, oh, the fuse is there. I must have missed that the last time. And I didn't realize that the fuse actually disappears if you watch the tape. Like, you can't get the fuse unless you get it before you watch the tape. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. And maybe they can implement that into the gameplay where it's not a crucial element, but maybe you miss a little chunk of the game. Maybe you miss like a random cutscene, or maybe you just miss a certain area. Like, you don't unlock this room because you did one thing before you did another thing. So you kind of, you watch a tape or something, and it erases that item because you didn't find that item the first time. So if they implement that, I think that would be cool. It'd be a nice little added bonus of replayability. Maybe, kind of do notes and documents in that regard. And it's like, oh, you missed this document because you watched the tape all the way through. So it erased the document, or it erased, a fuse or a switch or a button that was missing that you could have used to unlock this door or this room. And it's like, oh, well, I guess I'll just have to remember that for my second playthrough. So I love that idea. Thought that was a great mechanic. The reveal of, like, oh, here's this ladder and stuff, and so you know where to go, and you actually pick up the key, and that's how you escape. It was just a really cool idea. There is, for people who haven't, like, found all the items and stuff yet, basically everything that's hidden, because there's an axe in the game, and there's a lockpick in the game, you find that stuff during the tape. So you find the lockpick during the tape, and this is spoilers if you really care about, knowing where it is in the demo. The lockpick in the tape is like is behind the microwave. It's like on the floor next to the microwave, like to the right of it. So you get that, and then you unlock it. You unlock the locked drawer in the past, and then that unlocks it, in the present. And I thought that was a great idea, and that's how you get the axe, in the demo. And I thought that's a really cool concept. It's like you go through and you're kind of rewriting history a little bit, because you have to go through the tape, and it's like, oh, I missed this random thing in the past, so it won't unlock it, for the present, because it didn't happen, so it stayed locked. Or it doesn't even exist in the present because you didn't find it in the past. Just little stuff like that. And, I think that's actually a cool idea. And in one regard, it's a little weird because at some point it would have to be like, oh, these items don't exist whatsoever. Just like with the key, the key should have technically been there, but it doesn't show up until you watch the tape. So in some regards, it kind of doesn't make sense, because it would literally be like, oh, it spawned or something like that. Much like with the letter and stuff. Like, the letter moves from the table next to the TV when you watch the tape, and it's like, well, that means someone moved the letter from over there to right here as I was watching the tape. Like, I was so involved with, the tape. Like, it's just little stuff. Like, of course, it's really creepy, but logically speaking, it doesn't make any sense. Like, that just wouldn't happen. And it works for a horror element, but it's like, oh, the key, doesn't show up. Like, I understand the stuff with the fuse, if that's, like I said, bonus content or something, but when it's like, something you need in order to complete the game, or with it being the demo, you could use the fuse or the key, so it was a little bit different. But as far as the actual gameplay goes, it's kind of like sometimes that works, and then logistically, it doesn't. Because like my second playthrough is like, oh well, I know it's going to be over there. I just have to flip this switch or something. But would I still have to go through the whole tape? And it's one of those types of things. And I think I'd get over that, where it's like, you have to go through the tape to unlock stuff. It makes sense. It's just realistically speaking, it'll be weird to go through your first playthrough, and then your second playthrough is like, well, I just boom, open this little secret hatch up, keys right there, and then it's not there because you didn't follow like the code of the game where you have to go through the whole tape. There's little stuff like that, but I don't that that's something they'll have to work on as far as balance, because if that's the case, at least in some of the elements, that I would assume that would get rid of like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, possibly 20 minutes worth of gameplay, because we don't know how they're going to balance out the present and the past, if they truly are going to stick with this sort of tape mechanic where you play the actual past segments of the videotape. So we'll kind of have to wait on that. But as far as the demo goes, I thought it did really well. Like I said, it was a great new mechanic. To be totally honest, I thought it was a great way to add kind of new flavor to the puzzle elements of Resident Evil. A great way, kind of to bring it back too, because we haven't really had puzzles in the last games. There were like no puzzles in 6. There was nothing in 5. Like 5 was just a straight up action game, 100%. And 4 definitely had some puzzles in it, but not a million different puzzles. They had like the picture puzzle, I remember, and there's the one with the insignia, which wasn't much of a puzzle. It was just like, well, this is the insignia, and you just turn the little orb. It wasn't really that hard. So there were those 2 puzzles, and I'm pretty sure there are maybe 2 or 3 other ones, but that's really about it. There are like maybe 4 or 5 puzzles the whole game, and I guess if you want to, you can count them. The hedge maze is a puzzle with the dogs in it, if you want to, but it's just maze is a puzzle, so I guess you can count that. But it seems like a great way to bring back this element. I thought this was a great teaser. Definitely creepy. I'm hoping we get some more stuff in the next demo. I'm assuming we're going to get one before the game officially comes out, because we need to know about the combat in the game, because that's still a big thing. It's like, alright, we know there's going to be combat. For people who may not have been on Reddit or checked anything random, there will be guns in the game, because if you go to the options menu, when you pause the game, there's an option just like Resident Evil 6 where it's like auto aim or aim assist on and off, and you can change the reticle color, or the the laser color, just like you could in Resident Evil 6. So I thought that was cool. I was like, alright, that proves that there will be guns. If you get the axe in the game, there is a button, just like in all the other Resident Evils, where you aim the knife. I was just swinging it at random, so it seems like that's a new mechanic that they added. So maybe they're bringing back the walking and shooting at the same time, which kind of makes sense, especially with it being first person now. I think that makes even more sense, to be able to walk and shoot at the same time. So they kind of implemented that into the main franchise with 6, which they've had several different times throughout the years, but they officially put it in there in 6, so I'm assuming they're going to keep that, especially with the VR stuff and the first person style. So there will be guns. There is the actual thing where you aim the weapon or prep the weapon before you actually swing it. So that I thought was pretty cool as well. And maybe it'll once we get into more of the combat, we'll get to see how that plays out. But as far as the demo, we can destroy some boxes. You can destroy like 2 of the mannequins, like the ones that are used to like creep you out, like the jump scare mannequins. You can actually destroy those. So that's really it. You destroy some boxes, which respawn, so you can keep destroying those if you want to, and destroy the mannequins. And that's pretty much all you can do with the axe so far. Of course, like everybody else, don't know what to do with the freaking finger. Maybe it's nothing in there. Maybe, they'll add to the demo later. Who knows? But, as far as the demo is right now, I think it was a really good teaser. I think it's great as far as the horror element. Adding to it, knowing with the article where they're like, hey, the demo is it doesn't fully represent the game. The game will be more like classic Resident Evil. This isn't even a part of the actual game. It's just meant to, kind of show us the concepts of the story and puzzle elements. that makes me really happy because there's like the ghost girl in the demo and stuff like that. So I'm glad that it's not 100% like, yeah, this is what it's going to be like. There's this random ghost girl that you see all over the place and stuff. So maybe there are no ghosts. We still have to wait and see exactly what they want to do with that. But there is a girl and some stuff is going on there. But it was a fun demo, and it's got a lot of secrets to it, especially the ghost girl thing. I didn't get that junk at all in my playthrough. I was trying to, like people were telling me during the live stream. I was like, this is how you see her and stuff, and I was trying to do it, but it's so you have to be like perfect with the timing to actually see her in all these different locations. But it's really cool. I saw some stills, and it's super creepy. I'm sure it lasts for like less than half a second, but when you see it like in stills, it's super creepy. There's one where she's literally just hanging upside down from the ceiling, and I was trying to find that one, and I was like, oh, I missed it. I was thinking like, I wonder if she's off to the side or something. But there are two pictures. One, she's like leaning over the ceiling because there's like a little space, and you can see her head laying down in her hair. And then there's one when you turn around, she's literally just upside down in the hallway, and I was like, that's super creepy. Like that's probably the hardest one to miss because there's nothing else to distract you. It's like you look through the doorway and she's just upside down there. So if you look up stills for it, if you haven't seen her in all of her little spots, it's really freaking creepy. Like she's outside before you go in the house, she's in the hallway like twice, she's on the stairs, she's in that little room under the stairs, and I heard there's one scene where you can see her when you actually go down the ladder through the tape as well. So she's all over the place. Little creepy stuff. It's all time based, so you have to either really know the times or just you get it at random. But I did enjoy this trailer or demo. I don't know why I keep calling it a trailer, but really enjoyed this demo. I think it was definitely a great first step for the new Resident Evil. I would love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. Really, there's nothing I don't like about this, to be totally honest. The only thing was, just the initial idea of it is like, it's just such a change. But that, as far as the demo itself, I can't, I can't downplay the demo for the company deciding like, hey, let's make it first person. Like it definitely changes it and stuff for sure. It definitely changes the style of the game, and it being Resident Evil, it's such a weird feel because it feels like it could have been anything else, especially if they kept the ghost stuff. It could have just been a totally different horror game. But with it being Resident Evil, I am excited to see where they take it. As a first step, though, I love this. Like, even with the huge change to first person only, actually playing it, I was like, man, it's gonna work. At least it feels like it. I feel like it's just gonna work. So as much as I would love to have it third person like the other games, or most of the other games, not counting the Survivor games and the Umbrella Chronicles and the Chronicles games in general, I don't mind. Like I think it's gonna do good. This is definitely a great demo as far as I'm concerned. Um, Everybody's been playing it that's had the chance. If you haven't been able to play it, highly recommend it. Although I spoiled some random minor stuff where items are, but it's still worth playing because there's some weird stuff in there. There are multiple things to hear during one of the specific endings. There are multiple endings to it, and it's kind of awesome. Technically, there are 4 endings to this demo, so it's totally random how you get 3 of the endings. But one is you can only get it one way, but the other 3, it's random. Like I think it's just totally random with the phone calls, but I don't know, maybe it's based on how you do it, maybe how fast, maybe what you pick up first, how you do this and how you do that. I was playing around with it a bunch to see how much you could change it, but it was really fun. Like I said though, definitely want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.